There's our ladies. Well, you can't see through the second door, but always getting spiritual things. Yeah.
Oh.
Always. If I show you the room. One of my, it's awful to show you this, but one of my favourite places is there. The Queen sat on her throne.
On the throne.
Yeah, always pick up spiritual things. I did just now when I came out. Yeah, it was ask who's about or ask when I'm working. And going back to energy lines, I'm wondering whether there's an energy line that comes through from here, because I'll show you what I mean. Back in the bar a minute.
Just say that again. That's quite interesting.
I'm just here,
Oh,
polishing the bar.
But if you want to just talk to Lil a second.
Oh, God. Yes, I'm just here, just polishing the bar. And I haven't knocked anything, I'm just here polishing the wooden bar, and all of a sudden I heard ting, like a bell. Just one ting. So I'm looking to see if I've knocked anything, and I'm polishing a wooden bar. And I heard a bell.
yeah, just letting you know.
I have to say, when we were sat there just now, I heard the same.
Just like one
And I thought it was
ting.
out there.
No, it was here. It was right with. It was here. So I thought, oh,
Who do you think it was?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who's got a bell. It was definitely in this here, but it was sort of not muffled, but faint, if you know what I mean. Just a light tap on a bell. I don't know. I don't know who that was. Maybe it's the guy with the grey trousers.
The legs.
The legs. Perhaps the legs. I don't know. But it was just here, this area here. So I thought if I come and do a bit more polishing, perhaps it might come back. But we haven't even got a bell.
No.
And
Right.
it certainly wasn't that
Well, no, it
one.
wouldn't
Yeah,
be
we
that
got
one,
that. No, but
because that's
it just was a faint ting. Like that.
I've got to find a spot. Well, we were talking about the energy line.
Oh, right, sorry.
Sorry, going off that minute. Just here, on this bit here, when I was doing the platform a couple of times, or when we've been working, I'd say to Rachel, I'd go along, oh, there it is. Yeah, and you can feel this lovely shudder comes through, and you can feel this energy coming up. And I'd say to people, come and stand on this spot, come and stand on this spot, it's wonderful, you know, where you can feel the energy. So sometimes when I'm doing the platform, if I'm lacking a bit of energy, I'll find this spot. I will, when I ask for the energy.
Yeah.
But it's just along there, so it's got to come from across, hasn't it? From the outside, sort of like, I'm sure it's an energy line. I'm sure I'm feeling it.
Yeah,
Unless
I
there's water,
think-
unless there's water or something under here that would give me a bit of energy.
Well,
I
the
don't-
pipes, I know, run direct through there. They don't come across.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I've
it's
got
definitely
a
something
picture
there.
of all the drains.
I've showed it to other mediums and they've had a scan
Yeah.
on. You know, they found it themselves because you're going to sort of muck about with it and go, yeah, it's lovely.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah, you just stand on there, get some energy, honestly.
Could do with
Do you
something.
see why anybody say that?
Yeah, it's just like an energy that I found when we
It's
were
one of the
sort of-
reasons why we used to do the demo that way for the medium.
Yeah, and you can walk along that and you're saying, oh, can I come to you please? And if you just get towards the end and you think, sometimes I'll think, oh, I just lack a bit of energy. Oh, I can't find the spot. Oh yeah, that's great. Right, okay. Yeah, this is where we do our evenings. Oh, isn't it?
They must have known Phil was coming because I haven't had anything go on for quite a while.
No.
Usually when Rachel's away, I have a
Yeah.
sighting or something. But yesterday, when I was cleaning the toilets, men's, I had that. And I haven't had him out there for ages.
What was that, Lou?
You know,
Tell me that.
when I'm backing out the toilets and I feel like there's
Oh.
someone behind me going to put their hands, you know the man.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like he's going to, but I haven't had it. I literally said the other day, I haven't had picked up nothing for ages. And last Monday I saw the legs.
Yeah.
Rachel saw them at a different time. And then yesterday, I booked out, I thought I know that he's going to put, and you just feel like someone's just behind you, going to put their
Why
hands
don't
on
you
you.
just say
like
his
that.
name, Rachel, so because it's being filmed now rather than.
Say his name if you want.
Yeah. You mean
Do you
Jack?
know his
Jack.
name?
Jack.
Yeah.
That's the one we're
Jack.
talking about. Jack's the one we've been talking about most of the time.
Yeah.
He's the strongest.
And last night
Spirit
we
we've
were
got here.
down this end and the Coke gun flew out the thing and Jane nearly jumped, you know, because she was nowhere near it, and that's either in the hole or it's not.
Yeah.
You can't have it fall out because it's not
No, it's-
possible to do.
Yeah.
And it did, and she said, "Oh, crikey, I never touched it. I never touched it." And I mean, she was right down this end, so she couldn't have. And even Ollie looked at that because he was.
That's the kind of area I've just heard the bell.
Yeah, that's what made me think when you said the bell.
And also,
Yeah.
quite often you feel the miners, can't you?
Yes,
The old miners
yeah.
that would have drank in this pub.
Yeah.
You know, you can sort of. Well, I've seen a couple of chaps sat over there before, and once I saw one of them with spoons, playing with spoons
Oh.
on his knees. It was really, that was lovely to watch that. So yeah, they come and go, don't they? And they'll come up with a name, and Rachael, I say, yeah, that used to be an old Swanage name, because I'm not really from Swanage years ago, so I don't know all the names, but yeah, we
Yeah,
often
it's good.
find them in here, don't we?
You have your man in the back as well, don't you? Your miner in the back.
Yeah, I was going to say if the work miners that I see are in the pool ring
Yeah.
down that back the side down there. Just Mr. Redbeard or whatever his name is, with a big bushy beard, just sitting along here. Sitting along, sat here, but not. They wouldn't be sitting here. They're kind of sitting here in a row.
Different
And
level.
one's definitely got red hair and a big red beard. If I'd have known you were going to film me, I'd have dressed up and done my hair. If you'd have come tomorrow, I'm getting my hair cut tomorrow. But yeah, I quite often you can just go in through and
You
see
catch
them
it
at
the
catch them at the
don't
corner of
you?
your eye, and there's. I could probably count 3, and then it sort of drifts off, but definitely sat there.
Do you think there was a bench there at one time? There.
Yeah, but not on
So-
this level. They look like they're sort of kind of lower. They look
Right.
lower.
This was also the actual bar when the pub was first a pub. This was the pub, this room, and only this room. So that's quite interesting.
Oh.
And they probably would have had something round the walls because they didn't have much else. So that's
Yeah.
quite a possibility. I mean, I've not seen that one. I have seen various bits around the room, but I agree with Lil. It's like the level was different.
Yeah, like even the.
And several people said
Weirdly,
you
you could
almost
say-
looked down on them.
Yeah, like you could even say the floor would have been lower
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
But I can even in my mind see them with a big red beard. Big red
Yeah.
beard.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Exactly.
clean. I'm going to get my broom. They can come and help me if they want to.
Yeah, I'm sort of seeing things here, like they've chucked chickens out. It makes me laugh when I'm in here. We've done any meditating. But that's the bar. I mean, you must have chickens. There must have chickens coming in. I think they've chucked the chicken out, and there's bits of straw, and yeah, it's been absolutely lovely. Because the aura of the place is still here, isn't it? Which is nice for anyone. Then they come and they pick up, don't they?
We had a very interesting episode when the lintel had to be replaced.
Oh yeah,
I think it was last year. Oh, did you?
With the blacksmith again.
Yeah, that was the blacksmith. There was a wooden, obviously it was wooden original and it was full of woodworm. So when they took it out, they had a real job putting the bit of stone back in. And I've actually got a photo, which I'll show you later, of a little blue head that was literally, I forgot about it, so Lil said about the level of the floor. But it was literally about here, which sort of implied that obviously they'd either come upstairs from somewhere, because the head couldn't be there. I know they were a lot shorter, but then I'm not tall, and the height's sort of about here. So that was quite interesting as well.
Is there a basement to this
So,
building?
Not that we know of, but it has come up several times. People have said, is there a basement? But we don't actually know.
The stables, didn't it? Where the
The,
cellars
yeah, the
were.
stables went on through there.
So we
Yeah,
talked about this
definitely.
before. You think these entities are here, or this one particular, is to protect the building. So you told me of all these things that need to be fixed.
This
The blacksmith,
that's when-
definitely. That's
yeah.
the one that Terry picked up.
That's when we were going shopping. I just want to do it on here. When we were going shopping. When I went off to the ladies and thought I'd just go there before we go down. And I knew someone was still outside the toilet door, so I sort of focused in, with my third eye, had a look. And I thought, it's the blacksmith. He had his chamois with this leather thing on and his long boots and everything. And I thought, yeah, you're a blacksmith. And that's when he said, I'm going to have to say it the way he said it, I said, needs to get some iron on the roof. And I could tell it was urgent, I can't, didn't think he said anything else, did he?
No,
So he just
no.
said Ernie's the iron. Showed me where it is in my head. He put a picture in my head. And I come out and told Rachael. I said, we've actually seen a blacksmith now. I said, I told her what he'd said. And you asked me if he said his name, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So I asked him, I said, what's your name? And he said, Philip. I can't remember the surname.
Well, we didn't have we weren't given the surname. He just said
Yeah.
Philip. But when we looked on the electoral roll, a long time later, when we were doing some research on something else, there was a Philip Moss that lived in the ladies' toilets all those years ago in the 1800s, and he was actually shown as being the blacksmith of that time, which I thought was pretty good because Terri picked up his Christian name and the fact that he was a blacksmith. And obviously, because he was quite important, he was documented on the electoral roll census form as Philip Moss being the blacksmith
Yeah.
of that address. So that was really concrete proof for us.
So he came through
So that
for
was
the
really
roof, and then a week. Well, you asked your friend to have a look, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Within a few days.
Yeah.
And he got it done about a week later, wouldn't it? And said
yeah.
if Rachel hadn't.
Quite horrified. They had to go and get Acra props and prop the roof back up because he said if we didn't do something straight away, we would have lost the whole of that lower end of the level of that, the building.
So you think he's the guardian of this building?
Yes.
I think definitely, yeah. Certainly the bit that surrounds his property, yes, definitely.
Well, the
definitely.
lintels were in here, though, wasn't it? And I
Yeah.
couldn't. I thought he said lintel. I don't even know what a lintel was, so I was trying to explain that to you, wouldn't I? I said the
Yeah.
blacksmith's here again, and Rachel's cottoned on to what I thought, and you had a friend look around, didn't you?
Yeah, and he looked and he'd
Yeah.
already actually said, he's very connected to the pub as well, and he'd already said to someone that lintel needs to come out, there's a problem with it, and it literally just broke up because it was just so, well,
Yeah.
obviously it was old, but it was also full of woodworm. So we had it taken out and we had a stone lintel put back in, and it was when we were doing that work, that's when we really decided that the back of the pub was in actual fact the front. That was the first confirmation we had by the way it was built, and that there was a floor, instead of going straight up as it does now, it would originally gone up at an angle, and that's why the lintels had been placed as they had been. So that again was really concrete evidence.
And the last time was the chimney.
Was the
wasn't it?
chimney? Yeah,
We
yeah,
were upstairs.
the chimney.
The chimney must have been above us, but I could feel he was on a ladder, and he was showing me. I'm going up. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "There's a problem with the chimney." So he would tell me, and I would tell Rachael, and Rachael would sort it out. So yeah, that was the last time.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
we went
haven't
and
seen him
found some
since.
loose bricks around the edge of the chimney, and the flashing had gone, which although it wasn't as important as the whole roof, that was still an indication that obviously the damp was getting in where we didn't know it was actually getting in. So all three has been proved to be right, isn't
Well,
it?
Yeah,
So
so
it's really
It's,
good.
it's good to have some help from the other side
Definitely,
to take care of your
most
building.
definitely.
I really think they
Yeah,
love
we've got to
Rachel
thank him
being.
all the way.
Yeah, they love you being here, and they look after you, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's marvelous.
Yeah, I think Rachel's did a good job with the pub. They love her being here, and I think from a past, well, you've got past connection anyway.
Yeah,
Rachel believes she's
yeah.
past reincarnated. Do you want to
Okay.
tell the story of
Which
that
we
one?
no, not at the moment. We'll show you that later. Again, see if you pick up anything, what comes through. Again, I've got photos, death certificates, birth certificates, and census forms to prove that these people did actually exist.
Right, let's start off what I told you earlier about how Rachael got the pub, and then we sort of can lead from there. Yeah, Rachael really wanted the pub down the road, the Globe, and she set her heart on it. It's got as far as signing for the pub and everything, was all excited. And we got fields out the front, and we were out with the dogs one morning, and we're coming back across the field, so you could see the Globe and you could see this pub, the Oak. And she said to me, "Terri, Astral Guide, stop me." She said, "Stop, am I going to definitely have the Globe? I've signed for it, and, I'll know in a couple of days, am I definitely going to have the Globe?" So I stopped, had a word with my guides, and they said no. I felt terrible, but I said, "No, you're not having the Globe, you're having the Royal Oak, that pub," which Rachel was very upset about. You didn't want it, did you?
Nope.
But I knew then that she was going to have this pub, which neither one of us went to, did we? I mean, I'm not a Swanage person, so
No.
I didn't come to this pub. So I filled the pub called Rachael. That's what it was about, wasn't it? The pub crawl show. And the other sort of big story for me was when, like I said, we found that this pub, Royal Oak, was haunted. Word got about, and we had a local paranormal group wanted to come and investigate. So Rachael asked me to come down early. She said, can you come down before, go upstairs, she said, have a walk around and see what you can pick up first. So, which I did, and that's where I picked up all these names. And do you want me to say, not yet, can I say their surname?
You said surname, yeah.
Stevens. I picked up the surname of the family, Stevens, several of the family members, and how they died, and the child, how she died, and the age and everything, which I was thrilled. And the wonderful part for me was Rachael had a friend do a family tree on the Stevens family back then, and found, yes, it was correct, wasn't it? You proved it, so which helped me and my guys. Yeah, that was lovely. So that's one of my favourite stories. Let's have a look. Oh, the one I suppose I could say about in the bar when I met Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I did a bit of cleaning for Rachael when the pub was empty. She didn't have anyone to come in here and do the cleaning. She wasn't living here then, and I only live up the road, so I came in a few mornings for her to help out. And I just happened to be mopping along this bar floor here, and I could feel this man's energy behind me, so I knew I was in for it. And so I carried on mopping, thinking, well, he's going to let me know something a bit. And he actually said in a real broad dorsey, he said, what you doing in here? You know, in a real gruff voice, which made the hair stand up on the back of my neck, even though I'm used to seeing spirit, because it was so, you know, dominating. And so I decided the best thing was to carry on mopping. And I said, oh, it's all right, don't worry. It's your home, it's your pub. I am just cleaning it, just doing you a favour, sorry I disturbed you and everything, which in that way, he disappeared. So, and which started a nice rapport between the two of us really, because when Jack appears, I can usually talk him down, can't I, if he's got a problem with anybody, or he's a bit gruff or anything, I can usually talk to him, just wants respect.
I can hear snoring, but tell everybody it's the dog.
Yeah. And then
It's not a disincarnate entity, it's the dog.
He said, I've heard this before. And I would walk out, another morning I was going through and I walked out the door which takes you to the toilets and the snooker room, and I got tapped on the shoulder. I just felt this tapping on my shoulder, turned around, I couldn't see anybody. I just felt they were teasing then, you know, got a bit of teasing. Soldiers, we've had soldiers in here, haven't we? And I've seen a soldier walk down towards the men's toilets. Oh, you get noises in the morning, just to finish off the me coming in early when no one's there. I thought Rachael perhaps was upstairs packing because I knew she was going away, because I could hear something coming across the ceiling as if someone was being dragged, something was being dragged. So there was always letting me know they were there.
Footsteps around the loop.
Yeah, footsteps, that's right. There is another spirit as well, lovely lady, she's quite a broad lady, and she'll always come through, she's got her hands on her hips. She gave me the name Annie, and I feel she worked here. And I feel she looks after you as well, Rachael.
Yeah.
She's always given me that impression. And she'll just come in to see what's going on. She'll come to the door wherever we are and stand there and look at us to see what's going on. She never really says much, does she?
No, not really. No, but she's always around, and she's been documented also on the census of being here, and she was the head housekeeper.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to
replaced her.
She took you over once, didn't she?
She did take me over once, and
We were doing a circle, and Rachael went.
Can I get you to move over?
and she actually made me drink gin, which was very dangerous and very stupid, and I don't like gin, and wouldn't really speak until I'd had more gin that I'd sort of given her for the story, and that was quite an interesting circle.
Yeah, we were in a circle, and Rachael went really quiet.
Yeah, I can't really remember the rights of it because I was semi-under,
And-
so it's difficult to actually remember it.
We can tell you were Annie, you had a naughty mood on, you started laughing.
Yeah,
She's
I know
not-
I've got a mouthful of really rotten teeth because my teeth felt awful, and I can picture her quite clearly because I have seen her, but I do believe on that occasion she took me over at a price of the gin, to which I think I drank 3
Yeah.
doubles, was it?
She say gin, and of
Neat.
course John, being John, got up and got her a couple of gins. So poor old Rachel don't drink it. But you did on this occasion. So yeah, it's been quite funny at times, hasn't it?
Had some good happenings.
We've also, in the next room, in the dining room, we like the dining room, don't you?
Yeah.
Went in there one day to have a look around in the early days, you know, when Rachel first had the pub, and I see a chap sat there who was paying wages out to the staff. Again, it wasn't really like Spirit as here, it was more of the aura of the place, but I could see it in my mind's eye as clear as anything. He was giving them little brown packets to pay the staff their wages, I presume, you know, and you'd see him, I could feel him in there. But I said, we've had a baby crying, haven't we?
Yeah, and several people have also picked up that it was used as a courtroom in the past, which we've also found out was correct. I don't know what the connection is, but we've been given a connection to Corfe Castle, which obviously was a prominent place, and at the time Swanage, although is a big town now, this little village that's actually called Hurston, which is part of Swanage, was more popular up this end at the time than actually in Swanage itself. So it was quite an important stand in its own, had its own shops, local churches, and everything was up this end. So we think that's why they actually used the back room for the court. It's also been used for the soldiers when they used to camp out in the fields. I think it was about 1912, 1914 if I remember rightly. And we've also been told that they used that room in there as an infirmary for the really ill soldiers that were too ill to be in the tents, which you've also picked up.
Yeah, I used to pick that because I'd feel ill. And I'd said to Rachel, I felt really not very well in here. And then I felt the soldiers. I said, oh, I could feel a doctor, wouldn't it? Feel that. Also, I used to ask for proof because some things I used to pick up was like fingerprint, like of the past. See it as it's almost like seeing a film. When you work with clairvoyance, it's like having a little video going that you don't forget. Anyway, I'd ask Jack or maybe Thomas, if Thomas was in here, for proof. And once they went on about a gun, didn't they? There's a gun in the pub. I kept saying to Rachel, there's a gun. I forget what they called it now. I kept calling it something.
Can't remember.
Anyway, I kept saying about this gun, which was amazing, really. You found the gun, didn't you?
Well, I was away on holiday and my dad was doing something underneath the bar when it was the old bar. About 3 years ago, I think it was, and he found this piece of metal and he went to pull it and thought, why is there a pipe there? Anyway, he pulled it really hard and it came away in his hand, and he was absolutely shocked to find that there was this tiny little pistol that had been actually under the bar.
Yeah, it was
We've been here
amazing.
about 6 years and never knew it was there, so it shows we don't go under the bar very often. But he actually pulled it out, and we've actually got the gun upstairs, and it has been checked by the police, and they said that it is a genuine pistol of, I think it's about 1878, which still centres around the time of the people here, and it had been fired once, but the barrel was all twisted, so it couldn't be fired the second time. But we've actually got that upstairs, which was quite amazing. Nobody knew it was there, and obviously Terri picked that up through Spirit ages before, and it took a long time to actually find it. In fact, we forgot all about it, and it was a bit of a shock to actually put your hand on a gun.
Yeah.
So
And get that amazing proof. Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot something else as well. When we came in to investigate the pub with Rachel, I brought my husband and my son with us. My son was, what, 13 then, John?
yeah,
And we went upstairs to have a look around, which was quite a mess. Well, I shouldn't say.
it was a mess.
But looking in each of the bedrooms, and it wasn't just me picking up, you know, but my son could see orbs, coloured orbs, and he would say, oh, yes, there's a yellow orb in there, that's all right. I won't tell him which way I'm going across, but and then he'd look in there and we said, what do you think of that then, John? I could see what I thought in there, but he said, oh, there's a blue orb in there, you know, and he was happy, and it went along. He got to one of the bedrooms and he said, there's a yellow one and there's a blue one, and all of a sudden he said, I've got to get out, I don't like it, get me out of here. He didn't like it because the orbs started building, which again helps with the knowledge of that vortex, I believe, that's in that room. But because it started building, he didn't like it, he wanted out. So there is that little bit of dark side to it, isn't there, really? So it can turn.
Does the vortex, can you channel the energy to maybe, doesn't necessarily have to be negative, if it's a vortex that reflect other energies and syncopate with it? Do you think that happens here?
Yes, because it's not all negative, obviously. You get some really good energies coming through, different energies, but you might get the odd one. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you're sat there with a paranormal group and they're pushing their luck a little bit, you know, then you might get a change, but they get a bit fed up with that.
They have been asked to leave those several groups.
Yeah, Rachael won't have any problem.
And they say, right, no, out, we've had enough. And quite strongly enforced sometimes, haven't they?
Yeah, they'll say out. One of them brought a radio in, and which they use like a voice box. That was interesting.
Oh, yes.
And another tried a Ouija board up there after they were specifically told not to.
Yeah, we don't have
And that group were asked to leave and not to come back. And sort of various things like that. I think they tolerate some groups, but others they don't. And it always ends up that the groups never come back again. And yet then you get other groups that come back repeatedly again and again and again. And a very good friend of ours is building a case study, isn't he? He's been doing it for the last 6 years now. And some of the evidence he's got is absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if you're getting unpleasant energy or feel unpleasant about the place, how do you shut your aura off?
Well, we leave the room, or the actual area we're in, and I like to believe it's closed and locked so nobody goes in it for quite a while.
I see.
And I'll come in. Sorry.
Yeah, Terri will smudge it.
I'll come in with a
clear it.
smudge stick, white sage. In other words, it's just a stick of white sage, which is smoky, which I believe in, which I feel and I'm protected. And I'll just come in and ask for all the negative energies to be removed from the room, and only positive energies. And if I feel there's something there, I'll just talk and I'll ask them, and I'll try and convince them to go to the light. They are a good person, they've got family, they no need to be here. So yeah, we do it that way, don't we?
Yeah.
But as soon as we vacate, we get everybody that's a little bit vulnerable out of the room.
And I think we just know as well, because
too many times.
No, fortunately, but I think both Terri and I have got such a connection to the property or the land, I don't know what it is, that you know almost before it happens or as it's happening, that there's no doubt. And if Terri says go, we go. Or equally, if I turn around and say, right, not happy, it's got to go, or we've got to stop this particular bit, we just stop it and we leave. We never need to question each other, because it's almost like there's this inbuilt thing here that we just know. Can't really explain it.
We've had some fabulous things happen, haven't we, really? I was trying to think now. I was doing the mediumship one night in here, and I was giving someone a picture, wasn't I? I was giving a message. It was Selwyn. Do you remember when the picture fell off the wall?
Oh, sorry, yes.
And I was trying to say to him, it was somebody who used to come to the pub that was talking to me. I didn't know him, but I know of him. And so he came through, and I'm giving this message off, and I said he's telling me about this picture. And to make it a firm bit of information, I suppose, to make this person believe it, just behind me, this picture was on a nail. The nail was still in the wall, but the picture came off the nail, crashed onto the floor, wouldn't it? Which made everybody,
That was in the middle of
as I'm saying picture, whack.
Yeah, that was good, because there was about 30, 40 people in here that night. It was all, the picture fell off the wall.
Yeah,
So
we've
that
had
was
different
good.
things happening, haven't we?
We also, I must just butt in here about the picture on the wall. My dad and I had a very strange episode here when we had a meeting with the brewery and they were trying to get me out. And I wanted to conduct the meeting in here, but the area manager was insistent on going in the other room out of the way, so we went in there, and basically I was sort of being bullied and threatened is probably too strong a word, but I wasn't doing what they wanted me to do. I didn't comply, they wanted me out. The brewery wanted rid of me, but I think the spirits wanted to keep me, which is what I like to believe. And my accountant Gary was in the room with us, and he was doing the financial bit and the talking and blah blah blah, and they were hell-bent really on removing me. And then all of a sudden, this manager, he was sat near the wall in the other room, and this picture just went flying off the wall and hit him on the arm. And my accountant, Gary, who's a very good friend of mine as well, just looked at me and laughed and went, Gary, I presume, which was a very close friend of mine that just recently died, who used to spend a lot of time in here. And the manager got up and fled out the room and wasn't having anything of it. Sort of the meeting sort of ended very hastily, nothing more was said. They were due to come back, at a later time and continue the conversation. And anyway, they went, and I went back in to find my dad on the floor on his hands and knees, and I said, what are you doing? And he said, oh, I'm just trying to find the hook, so it doesn't go up in the hoover and wreck the hoover. And he said, I can't find the hook that the picture was on. So I got down on the floor and looked for the hook as well, couldn't find it. And in the end I said, well, I don't know where it's gone, so I thought perhaps it's in the wall. So I went over to the wall where the picture was, and I couldn't even find the hole that the hook had came out of in the first place. And we both looked at it and I said to him, I said, looking for the hook. I said, where the hell's the hole that the pin was in? And apparently the picture had just been hung on the wall without an actual hook, which is impossible.
Yeah.
But the picture had fallen off and actually hit the area manager, which made no sense whatsoever. And it was always the biggest joke, oh, well, perhaps Spirit don't want me to go, tongue in cheek. But I really do believe they wanted me to stay. And against all the odds, I'm still here. And we did manage to get rid of the brewery and buy them out, which was quite a feat, really.
The breweries are a corporate entity that try to gobble up the little people.
Absolutely.
That's what they try to do, so I
They
understand.
nearly put me in an asylum.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Literally.
nearly.
And
Trying to
so-
sort her out.
Yeah. But I do believe, again, that was Spirit's way of saying we want her here
Yeah.
and we want rid of them, because they were atrocious.
Well, if you have an energy vortex here, you can
Yeah.
use it for good things.
Well, I think they just used it. We were really laughing and sort of, oh yeah, really tongue in cheek, oh, they hit it. But then in the cold light of day, when we went to find the things, and why was that picture on the wall? How was it on the wall? There was no evidence of it being hung, and yet it fell off and hit him. And that picture had been up there, I don't know, 6 months, a year possibly.
Oh.
But
They-
it came off.
They've helped
So
as well with people that we've had a couple of people that's come in, not very good people, we'll say that, and they've managed to sort that out. We feel Spirit's had a hand there.
they
don't
do. It's like it's almost like if the house doesn't want people in, they don't come in. Or they might come in, test the waters and think, oh yeah, I'm going to make this mine, and then something happens that they don't. Whether they don't feel comfortable, whether they don't like us, whether they don't like the house, I don't know. But I really do, I personally believe Spirit pick and choose who comes in. And I know that sounds crazy.
It's interesting.
but
You have guardians of the building.
yeah,
And
yeah, both ways.
And they're really good, aren't they? But like I say, go back to any groups that have come here. If they don't like it, they'll just go.
Yeah, they don't go back.
They'll
they
just go into
left
the woodwork,
camera
don't they?
equipment.
No, but Spirit will
And
just
yeah, Spirit
won't
make-
react.
No,
It's
they
like,
don't.
No,
No, they
and
don't.
we think, oh right, okay.
No, they don't.
They've disappeared, but they just think, no,
Yeah.
not having none of it, don't they? Whereas other times they'll like what's going on.
Mm.
But like the time when it was Jack that come up to the house. I woke up in the middle of the night and he stood at the end of the bed and he's just saying, you've got to stop them. That was it, and went.
Oh.
And I knew, I came to you, didn't I? I said, Rach, we've got to stop these people that keep wanting to come and investigate the pub because he doesn't like it. They're not having it at the moment, are they?
I think also we've got to mention someone that came into the pub right in the very early stages of me just actually first moving in here. It was like Terri said, I didn't stay here for a long time, lots of years, and I had quite a big operation and I had to stay here because I couldn't walk or drive. And a stranger came in completely off the street who told me he was a guardian angel and would protect me and the place, and this is a living person. And then subsequently we found out without a shadow of a doubt that he was very connected to this pub, and he actually said that he would come in and mend things here physically, stonework, building work, the roof.
He did the wall, if you were in my
And he did the wall, and against all odds he doesn't live here, he's nowhere near here, but he's very heavily connected to the pub, to people in the pub, and basically he's in and out like a yo-yo, although he can't stay here because he regularly saw spirit.
Oh.
And right from the very beginning, I personally believe he activated the family that were here due to his connection with it. And to be honest, if it hadn't been for him, that side of the family, although we knew that they were scattered around and Terry had been picking them up for ages, we didn't get them together to actually know who was who in relation to who. And also, like Terry said earlier, who Terry was in another sort of connection away, and myself and him and probably half a dozen other people as well.
Huh. So he was compelled to come by here
Yes.
to show the
He
connection.
came in completely by accident, really.
Oh, really?
Um,
Well, is anything by accident is the question.
Yeah. No, I think the spirit here organised it. Yeah, I think
Oh.
we're drawn back to it. Yeah, and when he does trip up,
it always kicks off.
it does
Always
kick off.
kicks off.
Jack's about Thomas, you start feeling them.
Yeah,
quite-
the
quite a
energies
lot.
are around, and it's like the house knows. You hear doors knocking, nobody's there. You hear, oddly enough, Lil said about the bell, not necessarily what she heard, but I hear bells. I hear latches of doors. We don't have any doors that've got a latch on apart from one upstairs now, but a latch is quite a distinctive click, and we know that click. Lights tend to sort of play up, and then usually within a week he's here, which is quite odd again.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, this stuff is real. My gosh.
But it's very real.
It is very real, 'cause
We live with it
yeah.
all the time here.
Oh,
When you see it, like in one of the rooms, I always see the little girl, because I feel I can be straight with Bill because he's not really gonna.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And with her grandmother, she's usually with her grandmother Elizabeth, and this is what they told me their names was, Lizzie and Elizabeth, when I first met them, you know, and how she died and that. But I quite often see those two a lot. You know, if I go up into a particular room, I think, well, they might not be there to start with, and all of a sudden I feel Lizzie, who loves to play, she'll bounce on the beds, she touches people's hair and everything, doesn't
Yeah,
she loves to
yeah.
play. Yeah, she's
Moves thing.
quite shy at first, we're not quiet at first, but she seemed to have come out of her shell, doesn't she?
You picked her up yesterday when we were actually getting the room ready for you and for tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Terry said she was bouncing up and down on the bed behind me. Unfortunately, I couldn't feel it or see her, but I have seen her 3 times. But she's very, very tuned to like Terry. Whenever Terry's here, she's here. But I personally believe that's for another reason, which at the moment we don't want to say.
Yeah. Well,
I wonder why all these spirits haven't got onto the light. There seems to be so many that are associated or had a history here, keep coming back here.
yeah.
I
I'm
personally
wondering about
think
that.
it's unfinished business.
Oh,
I think most of the people are back here, should be here for whatever reason,
uh-huh.
but I personally feel the main one isn't here yet. And
Oh.
I don't think until he is back here properly where he should be, that maybe then they will let it go to rest because they've got their family back again, complete.
Oh.
That's my personal opinion, but I
Do
can't
you-
prove that.
What do you think of reincarnation? Do you think it's
Yes.
Well,
yes or no? Or
now you've touched
maybe?
that.
Yeah, that's it.
Now
Yeah,
is this the time to say then?
Well, Rachel.
We both had a regression session quite a few years ago now.
We read yours first, didn't we?
Yeah, I had
So-
mine quite a long time before Terry,
Yeah.
and I believe I was a lady that worked in the pub. I believe she was the sister of the landlady, and I believe she's connected to Terry, and I believe Terry was the landlady in a former life, and perhaps that's why in this one, so to speak, we are so connected as friends, because then obviously we were sisters.
Yeah.
See, at first I wouldn't have it. You know, I thought I'm a bit sort of. I do believe in reincarnation, no matter what. You know, I do believe in that. But I thought, no, this is a bit. Well, no. But there was something about the pub right from the beginning. I feel it's like I say, a second home to me. You know. And Rachel would say I changed, wouldn't you? When I come in here, I
She
feel
does.
about a hoity look.
She does.
I don't. I feel like I own the joint. But no, so at first I wouldn't have it, and in the end Rachel paid for me to have the regression, didn't you? She said, please, and you know, I thought, well, all right then. And when I was being regressed, Yeah, I didn't expect to go as deep as I did, and I didn't expect to be the person. You know, because Rachel hadn't have told me who the person was. I had no inkling who she thought I was. And I thought perhaps I worked here, or, you know, I don't know what I thought. And I didn't really want to be the person. When I felt who I was, I thought, no, because I heard the name, and I saw myself as a child first, and I knew I was well dressed, and I thought, well, I didn't expect that, because I thought I would have been more of a, you know, skippy or something. But anyway, yeah, so I did become,
And I also just butt in there, and I'm not sure whether Terri was aware, but before she was going under, and I was quite lucky that I was privileged to be sat in on the actual regression with a friend of ours that did it. She was the one that also incidentally had done mine and does quite a lot of, or has done quite a bit of work for the pub. Terri turned around and she said, "Why is Elizabeth here?" which was the old lady who she was just talking about just now. And I said, well, isn't there any wonder why she is here? Because if we were sisters and it proved that we were who we were, which I believe that, she would have been our mother, and the little girl Lizzie that Terri sees all the time would have actually been her daughter.
I don't know, you know, when someone passes on, how long the entities will stay in the spirit world before they reincarnate. So all these people coming back here, I wonder why they haven't reincarnated again.
I don't know, I can't answer that.
I can't either.
I can only
think-
answer with what happened actually to us at the time, which I believe 100% is correct, and it also extends further out to other people that we know that have been brought to the pub for whatever reason.
I still have a little bit of where my head's got to get round it still, you know, I still feel a bit wobbly, don't I, at times, but would say it would answer a few of my questions that I've felt when I'm in here. I think, my theory, I mean everybody's got their theories, no one can really prove it I suppose, but I think we go up there and you've got to come back and, you know, you see your mistakes,
Yeah.
you try and learn your mistakes, and you've got to come back for whatever reason. Yeah, and you've got to come back and learn those mistakes again, and whenever you choose to do that, that's the, you know, I'm going to come back and be that person, and I'm going to learn my mistakes.
Start all over again.
Yeah, and if you don't do it that time, you've got to go back up there again. Because I did meet a medium years ago, and because all the things that had happened to me since I was a child, I was asking her questions. I was particularly about my grandfather who had died, and I wanted to know why I see spirits everywhere, and I couldn't see my granddad. Anyway, I know it's a long story, but she said to me, you'll be a medium in your 40s, a professional medium, she said. And I thought, oh no, God, I've done all these things wrong in my life and everything. And she said, that's because you'll feel the pain. You had to go through all those experiences to feel the pain. I don't know why I relaxed onto that. I know we were on about reincarnation. And she said to me, this is your last time. Because I explained I've been through all this, that and the other. And I said, I'm going to be a medium. And she said, you had to go through all that, so when you help other people, you will actually feel their pain.
Yeah.
And you know, whether, it doesn't matter how bad it is, you'll understand.
I think certain of us come back here to help out, not necessarily have to learn the same old lessons over and over and over again if you don't get it.
No, that's right, as angels, come back as earth angels, I think.
I think so too.
And she said, this is your last time. She said, when you were up there, she said, you came down to do this last bit, she said, and you said, I'll go up and do the whole juicing lot and get it over with. And then I won't have to come back again. So she said, it'll be up to you if you come back. So I hope she's right, fingers crossed. But yeah, earth angels, I totally agree. I wouldn't particularly say I would like to think I was one now.
Well, I had a revelation the other day that a lot of us would volunteer to come back here to help out, maybe to help create balance here on the earth plane, because it can get really crazy at times.
That word again, balance.
Yeah.
And somebody has to do that. Somebody has to stick their finger in the dike until the reinforcements come. And
Maybe. Well, maybe. I mean, my son said to me, whether that's anything to do with what you're talking about, it suddenly come to my thoughts. I mean, perhaps that's part of why I'm a medium and why I have to help people. But he did say to me, Mum, you've got an illness. because I try and split myself so many ways because I want to help everybody. You know, there's 2 people who need help. I've got to do that. And he said, if someone asks you for help, he said you've got to do it. And he said you'll make yourself ill because you've got to do it. He said it's like an illness. So I mean, perhaps I can explain that. I can say I was an earth angel. You know, no, but you know what I mean? Because I like helping other people. So I'm not particularly saying I am, but yeah, that's a bit of fun.
Yeah, all the time you're talking, I'm hearing the dog snoring and all these doors.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very atmospheric.
But this,
I can hear it really well through the earphones.
Perhaps we should stop it and go upstairs, and then we'll have a bit of quiet, and then see
Well,
what you pick up upstairs.
I'll just say, when
Okay.
we're doing our mediumship, if whoever's on, these doors open on
Oh,
the
they
road,
do,
and
yeah, they
they'll
do.
all sit there and they'll go, did you see that? Did you hear that? They're all doing that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
very much.
Yes,
Very
yes.
much.